the raising of the pride flag over our State House in Boston. As co-chair of the legislature's LGBTQ Caucus, I'm proud to welcome you. My co-chair, Julian Cyr, is disappointed to miss today's event, but is with us in spirit. And for the record, the LGBTQ Caucus is composed of 10 legislators, in addition to Senator Cyr and myself. We have leader, and if you want to raise your hands when I introduce you, Leader Sarah Peak from Provincetown. Natalie Higgins from Leominster. Representative Jack Lewis from Framingham. Representative Adam Scanlon from North Attleboro. Representative Sam Montano from Jamaica Plain. Representative John Moran from Boston South End. Very humbly, Kate Hogan, Speaker Pro Tem. Senator Will Brownsberger from Belmont, and Senator Joe Comerford from Florence. And welcome to you, our esteemed guests, and all of our allies who are here today. As you know, we're at a moment in time when our country's government in its entirety is not a friend of the LGBTQ community. In 2024, there are no national laws protecting the civil rights of our community members. In fact, right now we're seeing those protections and state rights, accommodations being chipped away in the courts. Even here in Massachusetts, anti-LGBTQ activity is rising with increasing numbers of book bans, drag, story hour protests, curriculum disputes, harassment at school committee meetings, graffiti, and more. However, I am proud to say that Massachusetts leaders are working hard to protect our LGBTQ youth, families, providers, librarians, and educators in Massachusetts. You'll hear more about where we are and where we've come from today. Our speakers will also share more about our legislative priorities as we work together in Massachusetts to lead by example and commit to equality, inclusion, and justice for all. I'm honored to introduce Mass Governor Maura Healey, our nation's first openly gay Attorney General and one of 2 lesbian governors in the United States. Throughout her career, Maura has broken through barriers and opened doors for others to do so as well. Governor Healey has had an extensive career as a civil rights lawyer, leading legal challenges to discriminatory laws and advocating for the protection of LGBTQ rights. In 2009, while chief of the Attorney General's Civil Rights Division, she led the first successful state challenge of the Defense of Marriage Act, paving the way for federal rights of LGBTQ married couples in Massachusetts. As the nation's first gay Attorney General, she supported the landmark Obergefell case, defending state anti-discrimination laws against businesses like Masterpiece Cake Shop that discriminated against the LGBT community, challenged the Trump administration's attack on the community, including the ban on transgender military service, and helped see through the passage of anti-discrimination protections for the transgender community in public accommodations. As governor, she updated the state health education framework to include standards for LGBTQ inclusive programs, expanded the state's spending benchmarks to include LGBTQ-owned businesses, and increased mental health resources for LGBTQ youth. While Governor Healey has made extensive accomplishments advancing our rights, she continues to fight for equality and freedom every day. Please welcome the Governor of Massachusetts, Maura Healey.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Representative Hogan, for your leadership, to you, to Leader Peak, to Speaker Mariano, to our incredible, awesome LGBTQ caucus here in the legislature. We have so many friends with us, we have so many allies with us, and we're just so grateful that you once again, along with Senator Cyr, are hosting this event. We've got a lot of folks from our agencies here as well, from the legislature working hard in this building. We're really grateful for the work they do day in and day out. We have so many advocates and activists out here as well. We have so many seniors out here who are true trailblazers in this cause. We have a lot of young people. It's awesome to see people from Western Mass, from the Cape and Islands, Western Mass, Cape and Islands, Central Mass, Boston. It's really, really awesome. And Massachusetts is out in force today because Massachusetts truly is united in pride. Happy Pride, everyone. I also want to introduce some special people. It's a season where we hope to be bringing more banners back to town. And not only do we root for the Celtics this week, but we also want to acknowledge the incredible inaugural season of the Professional Women's Hockey League. Joining us today, we have Coach Courtney Kessel, Coach Meg Turner, and we have Stephanie Faith as well. We're really grateful to you all for being here and for these games where, you know, they played right through the championship, which was awesome, and they did so throughout the season playing hard. And the reason they're here today is because they also were a team that stood up for inclusivity, as you can see from their shirts. And we really, really appreciate your leadership, not just in women's sports, which everyone is watching, but also when it comes to creating inclusive environments for all. So let's give it up to our great PWHL Boston team, who we hope will bring back a banner of their own next year. So look, I'm going to be brief. I just am reminded as I stand on these steps that we are surrounded by people, individuals, and also individuals out here who made so much possible, not just for people in Massachusetts, but around this world. 20 years ago, and we celebrate that this year, marriage equality. And it came about through incredibly hard-fought battles, fights, struggles, storytelling, courageous votes by legislators. And I just want to thank each and every one of you and your predecessors for your leadership and your continued leadership, because we are facing a situation where too many are looking to take away important, hard-won rights and freedoms. These are freedoms. Equal treatment under the law is something that is in our United States Constitution. And so I want us to be reminded of that incredible history here we have in Massachusetts, our obligation in this time in Massachusetts to stand tall in the face of assaults, and to make sure that we are always showing a better way forward, not just in Massachusetts, but around this country when it comes to building safer, more inclusive, more vibrant communities. Let's stand together, which is what we do today symbolically in raising this flag, saying to every person, no matter your age, your identity, your gender expression, here in Massachusetts, you are welcome. We see you, we hear you, we love you, we stand with you. We will always fight for you. Happy Pride, everyone.
Thank you so much, Governor. I have now the great pleasure of introducing the Massachusetts House Speaker, Ron Mariano. He's a great supporter of the LGBT community since 2004, when he voted to make Massachusetts the first state in the country to grant marriage licenses to same-sex couples. He has always voted and led legislative efforts to strengthen the rights and protections of our community. Speaker Mariano also led the House quick response to protect gender-affirming care in Massachusetts after the U.S. Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Also last year, in an effort to support LGBTQ and bring us closer to no stigma around HIV, the legislature passed a bill to allow minors to access HIV prevention medication. And this year, the House budget mandates coverage for, at no out-of-pocket cost for customers, preventive health care services such as HIV preventive medication. Speaker Mariano is truly a champion for our cause. He is our speaker and has done marvelous things for Massachusetts. I am so proud to introduce him. Please welcome Speaker Ron Mariano.
Thank you, Kate. Governor, it's good to see you. I'm reminded of the last time I was here, and I told the folks in the front row that if I went over from the sun, which is what almost happened the last time I was here, to push me forward so I don't disrupt all the folks standing behind me. That's the sacrifices I'm willing to make for pride. I want to thank Governor Healey, Kate Hogan, Sarah Peak, and the entire LGBTQ caucus for their work in standing behind the causes that are so important to every single one of you. Without their leadership and without their willing to take up the mantle, we would suffer from the banding of the group that you see behind us. I want you to take a look at all the folks who are here. That's pretty much a pretty big majority. I could pretty much get anything done I wanted out here today if we frame it right, huh? Yeah. And if you're out here, that means there's probably no amendments to the housing bond bill. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. You know, it doesn't seem that long ago that I took that vote until Kate just reminded me that it was a long time ago. But it was very trying and difficult times up here as we tried to explain what we wanted to do. And it has been an amazing ride to watch that acceptance after that vote to the situation we're in today, where the attacks in Florida just seem to never stop. The Don't Say Gay law, attacks on transgender rights, things that we just took for granted would always be there. Now we have a group. They call themselves the Supreme Court. I think it's a bit of an extravagant exaggeration to call them extreme on anything, supreme, who will verbalize the fact that they are anti-rights for everyone in the LGBTQ community, which to me is a frightening state of affairs that we are facing in this country. I remember talking here the last time we were here before I was about to pass out, that was the most significant challenge we were going to face. And I still want to remind everyone that the clarion call is out there. You have 5 members of the court who want to take your rights away. There's no way to couch the term. They take away everything that you view as a freedom. And they'd be very happy to do it. They fly their flags upside down. It's crazy. But we're here, and I stand with the people behind me because I only have one vote. But you can see we have a lot of votes here. We have a lot of votes here because they believe that we will continue to protect the rights. You know, one of the things we're going to do, and people are saying you should make an announcement, and I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because I like a good story. One of the things we're going to do within the month is the parentage bill. I knew that I'd get a hand. Thank you, thank you. I did know I would get a hand, but and I am not above milking it for the the hand. But I want to just say that it's an important set of rules and principles that important to LGBTQ community members. We have to straighten out the laws, the archaic laws on how we determine the family relationships. And this is a first step, and it took an awful lot of work. This bill has been around for a while. There's been at least 6 or 7 iterations that I know of to get the laws right. There's so many laws that it encompasses and so many variables that have to be accounted for in this bill that it took us an awful long time. And we may not have 100% agreement, but I think we have enough votes to get it out there and begin the discussion and let people become aware of how important this is. And we want to begin this discussion before we leave here in July 31st, which is right around the corner. But we are committed to getting it done. And so for that, we will continue to work on the pride issues. This being probably the biggest one in front of us at the time being, for the time being. But there will be more. And we stand ready. You see how many people are here. This is pretty impressive. A lot more, Kate, than the last time we were here. So it's growing in the right direction. So with that, I wish everyone a happy Pride month and a lot of celebrations, and everyone stay safe, and we'll see you here next year.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to bring back Governor Healey because we brought up our 2 important speakers from the legislature and from the executive branch, and now I'd like the governor to come back and raise the flag. There will be other speakers after, but please, here you go, Gov.
That's great. Well, let's acknowledge at this moment, let's take a moment and thank the great folks from DCR. Give them a hand and give ourselves a hand for the pride flag that's raised. Beautiful. Thank you to DCR and to the Bureau of the State House. And I return the podium to you. Okay, great. Did you know all these folks?
Yep, we'll introduce
You did.
Did you want to? I would also like to welcome and thank for attendance Arlene Isaacson, who is here, Inspector General Jeff Shapiro, HHS Regional Director Everett Hanford, Governor's Counsel Joe Ferreira, Governor's Counselor Tara Jacobs, and Rebecca Hollison of the Repro Equity Now. Welcome, everybody. It is my great honor, tinged with a little bit of sadness, to introduce Sarah Peak to speak to you all. Elected in 2006, Representative Peak is currently serving her 9th term, representing the 4th Barnstable District on Cape Cod. Sarah is a fierce advocate for her district and all Cape Codders, as well as LGBTQ issues. In 2021, Sarah was appointed 2nd Assistant Majority Leader by our Speaker, Ron Mariano. She also serves as the House Co-Chair of the Regional Transit Authority Caucus, has done some remarkable work in that area, and helped found the Rural Caucus. Previously, Sarah served as the Chair of the Joint Committee on Municipalities and Regional Government, Committee on Tourism and Arts. She has been serving as the Mass Legislative Commissioner to the Atlantic State Marine Fisheries Commission since 2009. Please, please, please welcome Leader Sarah Peak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker Pro Tem, for that wonderful introduction. Happy Pride, everybody. Happy Pride. And happy anniversary or happy Pride and celebration on the 20th anniversary of marriage equality. I know it strikes home for me, and I am so grateful. I want to give, she's not here today, but I want to give a shout out to Mary Bonato, my personal hero, for bringing us marriage equality. And I didn't want to get out over my skis about the Parentage Act, but since the Speaker was so forthright about it, I'm happy to celebrate that, and also thank my partners at GLAAD and Representative Hannah Kane for all of their work, as well as Arlene Isaacson on that. To our governor, who was introduced as one of 2 lesbian governors in the United States of America, she may be one of 2, but all of us know here in Massachusetts, she really is number 1. There's no question about that. You know, as we think about the importance of government working to create a safe space for our LGBTQ community, and really even beyond a safe space, a space where we can grow, thrive, raise our families, go to work, find a place to live, and just enjoy our lives as every other citizen would. You have to reflect on the importance of government. Last weekend, I had the good fortune, we had tickets to go to the Provincetown Theater Company's production of the staged production of Tony Kushner's Angels in America. And it was a wonderful performance, but it was sobering because it shows, well, there's many takeaways from it. And it was interesting watching it now in 2024. My takeaways were slightly different from what they were a decade ago or 15 or even 20 years ago. But what really struck home is how government makes a difference in people's lives. Then President Ronald Reagan turned his back on our community. He turned his back on HIV/AIDS because it was, quote unquote, only affecting gay men. And really, his sentiment was, and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing, who cares about them? Well, you know what? Today in 2024, we care about gay men, we care about our trans siblings, we care about lesbians, we care about our bisexual community, and we care about our queer community. And I am proud to stand here today and be part of this group that cares. But our rights are not assured. We see right here in Massachusetts, drag queens not being allowed to march in pride parades in some of our communities. Right here in the Commonwealth, we see book banning happening right here in the Commonwealth. We see our trans youth being targeted both at the state and the national level. And talk about picking on among the most vulnerable, right? What kind of fight is that? It's really just disgusting, if you ask me. But I have to say, I am grateful for the bubble that we live in here in Massachusetts. And in case there's any confusion, that bubble is not caused by the atmospheric conditions that are keeping the pollen hovering over the city of Boston. That bubble is created by the people standing behind me and the people who preceded them as well. I get to work with some of the best people in the world who are committed every day to fairness, equity, and equality. Tolerance has never been a standard for us in the Massachusetts legislature. What we are about is we hold ourselves forward and believe in full quality, equality, and acceptance. We've ensured marriage equality continued. We've passed legislation that addressed bullying, anti-bullying legislation. We have successfully voted and had signed into law legislation to ban conversion therapy. We've ensured civil rights protections for our trans siblings. It took kind of a two-part vote, everything but the bathroom the first time around, and then we included the bathroom the next time around. But both were overwhelming votes. By the way, Kate, on that issue, Kate Clinton, I shouldn't try to quote the most outstanding lesbian comic that has ever lived and continues to live, but she has a little joke about the quote-unquote bathroom bill. You know that a civil rights issue has really ripened and it's set for action when the discussion devolves and it's all about bathrooms. So here we were, that was about bathrooms, and by the way, we addressed it. We have created a permanent commission on LGBT aging. We've passed legislation that ensures life-saving lipodystrophy therapy is covered by insurance companies here in Massachusetts. And we continue to work to ensure that trans therapies, access to PrEP, all of those important life-saving and life-changing therapies are available to people here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And we certainly have more to do. There was one time, I think it was after we passed the ban on conversion therapy, I went up to then Speaker DeLeo and I said, I think we might be done. That might be it for the gay agenda. And he said to me, Sarah, never say that. There's always something more. Don't short sell yourself. So sure enough, there have been more things and more good things to come. But while we're often leaping to the next thing, sometimes what we forget is to express our gratitude and our thanks. That's often in short supply. I think my colleagues would agree. Maybe there's a lot of emails saying do this, do that, but not as many emails and letters or stops in the grocery store saying thank you for what you've done. So today, I'd like to express my gratitude for our pioneers who preceded me in the legislature, people such as Barney Frank, Liz Malia, Cheryl Coakley-Rivera, and Carl Shortino. And I hope I'm not leaving anybody off of the list. And our movement's pioneers also reach beyond the LGBTQ community. We couldn't do this without our straight allies. And first among them is Speaker Ron Mariano, who, when marriage equality was threatened, it wasn't a question in his mind. He voted with us to preserve our civil rights. And to help you connect the dots on that, I'll just point out, he doesn't represent Provincetown, and he doesn't represent the South End. He's the gentleman from Quincy. So this speaks to the depth of his commitment to our community. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So let's use this Pride Month to celebrate and reinvigorate ourselves, have some fun, but keep progress moving forward. Happy Pride, everybody. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I would also like to welcome DPH Director Robbie Goldstein. Robbie, Director of Trans Health Northampton, Dallas, Ducar, and Mass Cultural Council Director Michael Bobbitt. Welcome, everybody. I would now like to introduce Senator Will Brownsberger. He is President pro tempore of the Senate and has served in the legislature for 17 years. As senator, he represents Fenway, Alston, Brighton, Watertown, Belmont, and West Cambridge. Will is also the newest member of the LGBTQ Legislative Caucus. Please welcome Will Brownsberger.
So as Kate said, yes, I am the newest member of the LGBTQ caucus. I'm someone who had a longer journey than some others to self-awareness, self-acceptance, and ultimately self-respect. That has to do with being bisexual. When you are bisexual, there's a thing called erasure, which means that you can get by in life in one frame while denying even to yourself an important part of yourself, and that has a cost. So that's a personal and private journey, but it's one that I don't feel I was able to do alone. I am grateful, really, to every single LGBTQ person who I've ever met who was open about who they were. That gave me an inkling, gave me a message, gave me a little drop of courage. I'm especially grateful to people like our governor who are able to have the courage to be themselves openly in public life, and they shower courage down on people who they'll never meet. I'm also grateful to our, of course, wonderful straight allies. Margaret Marshall at the top of the list right today because of marriage. That was an important thing for everybody in the LGBTQ community, and it also sent a little message to me, help me along, help me along. I'm grateful to our Senate President, who sends her regrets for being unable to be here today, who really has set a tone of absolute respect for every individual in the Senate. I'm grateful for that. You know, so when I, a year or two ago, got to a place where I had my head around who I was a little better. Of course, it's a journey that continues for all of us. But when I'd made some progress, I knew that I had to be out so that I could give some support to people who were in my shoes. So I did that at Pride last year. Big day for me. Thank you. And I want to say, by the way, one of the first notes I got, one of the nicest notes I got, was from Speaker Mariano. When you're first coming out, that is a time of vulnerability. So those first few messages are really important. Thank you again. I really appreciate that. So we have great legislative leaders, and that's a reflection of the fact that we do have a great legislature. This is a legislature that voted by more than 75% to support the extension of the civil dignity of marriage to every single loving relationship. And as others before me have detailed, a continuing record of recognizing the humanity and dignity of all of our citizens, of all members of the LGBTQ community. Ultimately, though, I feel incredible gratitude to the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts who do elect us as leaders. We have a great governor. We have a great speaker. We have a great Senate president and a great legislature because the people of Massachusetts value human dignity. So I'm grateful to live here. I'm grateful to all of the people of Massachusetts. I'm grateful to all of you for being here. And I think it's a great day to celebrate. And it's a great day in celebrating to pass the message forward to cement our commitment to human dignity in the Commonwealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Will Browsberger. I am delighted to introduce to you Gary Daffin, the Executive Director of Multicultural AIDS Coalition. In Roxbury, Mass., it serves communities of color vulnerable to HIV and other infectious diseases. Prior to MAC, Daffin worked as Vice President for Development and Public Affairs for Youth Build USA, a national youth development initiative. He's received several community awards, including the Jerry Studs Award for Fenway Health, William Hinton Award for the Mass Department of Public Health, and Heroes in Action Award for the AIDS Action Committee and others. Please welcome Gary Daffin.
Thank you, everybody. Coming towards the end, I'm going to try and be fairly brief. First, I want to say that I'm from Alabama, and we also have a woman governor, and we do have a legislature, but I assure you they are not having this event today. And so I just want to say thank you to the governor and to the legislators here and the ones who have been with us for all the past 30 years, because I am part of the Massachusetts LGBTQ political caucus, so I'm a veteran of the marriage equality fights with my friend Arlene Isaacson, who is a champion for us. And standing here, I really just had a sense of deja vu, because back then, one of the things I remember is that we had a lot of rallies and fights right here where you're standing. And there were people all out here, and there were a bunch of folks who were telling us that we were going to go to hell. And as we talked to them and fought with them, we realized that they had all been shipped in from Ohio and Indiana and Missouri because they couldn't find people in Massachusetts who thought it was important enough to come and say that gay people shouldn't be able to get married to come here and fight against us. So we shouted and sang and had flags and, in here and inside. And I think the thing that I remember most is that it was a very joyful event. Even though we were in the fight, the joy was in the fight. And the joy was in the protesting and defending who we are and trying to make this country a better place for everybody, including queer people. And I think that's something that carries through to today. I'm also part of Boston Pride for the People and here to invite everybody to come to Pride. I'll do that in a minute. But one of the core things that we try to promote is joy and jubilation, queer joy, friends and family, and performance and protest. And protest is something that every one of us has to do our entire lives. Every time we come out, every time we have to correct someone about our pronouns, every time a mother has to defend her transgender son, or a father has to defend his transgender daughter. We are always protesting, we're always fighting, and we welcome that. And I think that's why it's so important for us to have pride, to recognize pride, and to come together, because when we are together, we're stronger, we're more forceful, and we give each other comfort. And so with that, I want to invite you to come to Pride, which is Saturday. It starts at 11 o'clock at Copley Square. There's a parade. The parade is 40% bigger this time. We're going to try and move it along so you don't have to sit there for 6 hours. But everybody wants to be a part of Pride. Gay people, queer people, straight people, everybody understands that it's important that we stand up and say that we get it. We're with the program that everybody should have freedom, everybody should have equality. So there's the parade, then there's the festival at Boston Common right there. It's bigger than last year. It goes from 12 to 6, and we have a block party, which is at City Hall Plaza. It's from 2 to 8 o'clock. It's a 21 plus event, so sorry kids, you can't come, but adults you can. So please come out, have fun. We're gonna celebrate marriage equality, celebrate being queer, celebrate being gay. And again, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for continuing your protest. And thank you all for being with us all this time.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you for your remarks, your words. So profound in these days. And as we close our program, I'd just like to give a shout out to the newest members of our LGBTQ Legislative Caucus. We have 3 new legislators who joined the caucus this session. Representative Sam Montano, the first person of color in our caucus. Sam. Representative John Moran, who was actually sworn in after last year's Pride raising. Will Brownsberger, who has told you his story. Welcome, Will. And on behalf of Natalie, Sarah, Jack, Joe, and Representative Adam Scanlon, we'd like to welcome Adam Scanlon, who is a member of the COVID class and joined the caucus during the pandemic. So it took a while for us to all get together. We want to offer a hearty and heartfelt welcome to each of them to the caucus. And now, as we come to the end of our program, I would like to introduce one of these caucus freshman members, Representative John Moran, who will sing a community favorite, True Colors. John Moran served in the Mass State as a state rep for the 9th Suffolk District since 2023. He represents part of South End, Roxbury, Back Bay, Newmarket, and Dorchester, and is the first openly gay legislator from his district. As a proud member of the LGBTQ community, Moran has also volunteered for the Human Rights Campaign, served as vice president of the board of directors for the Gay Men's Chorus, hence the song, and was a founding member of the Liberty Mutual's LGBTQ Employee Resource. And in 2024, awarded Beacons of Light Award by Mass Equality for his work with Senator Julian Cyr on combating book banning in Massachusetts. John will be singing his rendition, accompanied by Jonathan Kessler. John, take it away.
Happy Pride, everybody. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. It's hard to make sense of it all, and the darkness inside you makes you feel so small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid. Let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow. Show me your smile then. Don't be unhappy, can't remember when I last saw you laughing If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can bear, just call me up and I'll know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful, ooh, like a rainbow. If this world makes you crazy and you've taken all you can give, just call me up, 'cause you know I'll be there. And I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors. True colors are shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid. Let them show your true colors. True colors. True colors are beautiful, like a rainbow.
Happy Pride, everyone! We love you! We see you! Happy Pride!
We have our very own Irish tenor. Who knew?
Exactly.